The Railjack is the Tenno's spaceship used for missions on the Railjack star chart, Void Storms and the final confrontation with the Kuva Liches and Sisters of Parvos. Its most important parts are the components that determine its speed, health, shield capacity and battle mod's strength, duration and range. Components can be fabricated at the research console in your clan's dry dock, or repaired from wreckage found in Railjack missions. Wreckage picked up in missions goes into your unidentified wreckage pile. To find out the stats or repair your chosen wreckage, you will first need to inspect it. There are only 30 slots for identified wreckage, and this number cannot be increased. Before you can equip a wreckage component, you first need to repair it. Repairs cost credits, Railjack resources and take 12 hours. You can also use a rush repair drone, which will immediately repair a component without the resource cost. Rush repair drones are legendary skirmish rewards from the Veil Proxima missions. Once repaired, the components take up components and armament slots. You start with 8 slots, but additional slots can be purchased from the marketplace. The repaired component will have their stats rolled from a range, depending on their tier and manufacturer. To increase the stat up to its max value, you will need to fuse it with another component of the same type and manufacturer. This can be a lower tier component, it can be a repaired or a wreckage component, but it needs to be inspected first, and fusing the components costs endo. There are 3 tiers of each component. Tier 3 components will have higher base stats with higher maximum values and unique traits depending on their manufacturer. For the highest level missions, Void Storms and Veil missions, you should aim to get the highest tier components, but lower tiers will serve you just fine until you get there. Components can be scrapped and this will refund 80% of the materials that were used for its repair or fabrication. Unidentified and identified wreckage can be scrapped for endo. This is currently one of the best ways of farming endo, along with the mission rewards from Railjack missions. There are 4 manufacturers of Railjack components. The Sigma components are the default components and they can also be fabricated at the research console at the dry dock in your dojo. They require some materials to fabricate and can be installed immediately into your Railjack. The MK3 components are better than the default components that come with the Railjack and might be better than some wreckage. Once you get your hands on Tier 2 and 3 wreckage, you won't need the Sigma components anymore. Laven, Vidar and Zetki components drop as wreckage or mission rewards from Railjack missions. The plating determines your Railjack's hull health and armor. Tier 3 plating doesn't offer any unique traits. Laven plating has the highest health, but the lowest armor. Vidar plating has lower health, but higher armor. And Zetki plating is in the middle on both stats. According to the wiki, Laven plating has the highest effective health, and that is consistent with my experience, so it is the best plating to use. The shield array modifies the Railjack's shield capacity, recharge rate and delay. The Laven shield arrays have the highest capacity, but with a longer recharge delay. Vidar shield arrays have lower capacity and a shorter recharge delay. Zetki shield arrays have the shortest recharge delay at the cost of capacity and recharge speed. So, if you're going into higher level Railjack missions, you might want the shield array that allows you to make the most use of shield gating. Once the Railjack shields are completely depleted, the Railjack has 3 seconds of invulnerability, and it only resets once the shields have been completely recharged. With the default shield array, the shield recharge delay is 5 seconds. So you want to look for the shield array that will have a short delay and recharge completely in the shortest time. As you can see from the diagram, the maxed MK3 Vidar array is the best one to use because it fully recharges just as fast as the Laven array, but it has a shorter recharge delay. Unless you take the unique traits into account. When choosing the unique traits, I would suggest choosing the ones that apply to the Railjack's shields and damage. The Laven trait that converts 10 times the energy used on battle mods can be useful, unless you're using Hildren or Lavos. In that case it won't work since those 2 frames don't use energy, but they can use the battle mods more often. I have been using the Vidar shield array that grants bonus damage to my turrets, but I find it hard to tell how useful it is. The Zetki shield array is the one that takes the longest to recharge, but you can take the trait that increases damage while shields are depleted. The shield recharge delay with a maxed Zetki shield array is only 1 second, but since it recharges slowly, it can be depleted for a significant amount of time. From using all of my maxed Mk3 shield arrays, I have found very little difference in the frequency of hull breaches. As long as you have the Mk3 Laven plating maxed and any maxed Tier 3 shield array, along with the Indomitable or Ironclad matrix, you should have no trouble, even in Vale Proxima. The only thing that causes hull breaches consistently are the missiles and the beams from the Grineer and Corpus space stations. If you're in a squad, the Railjack pilot should hide from them. But the AI crew pilot will just circle the objective and get shot at. If you have an engineer, it won't happen more often than the engineer can repair it. The engines determine the base speed and the boost speed modifier. The Railjack's base engine stats are 150 meters per second and the boost modifier is 1.25 times. The speed mods on the pilot's plexus are applied to the base stats and then the equipped engine's values are added on. The Laven engines have the highest boost modifier, but the lowest top speed. The Vidar engines have the best top speed, but the lowest boost speed. And the Zetki engines are in the middle on both stats. I did the calculations to compare the top speeds and boost speeds for each engine while using speed mods. As you can see from the table, the Laven engines will always have the higher boost speed, while the Vidar engines have the higher top speed. So either is a good option, depending on whether you are mostly boosting or not, though the mods that you have equipped on your plexus make a bigger difference. For the unique traits, I suggest taking the ones that apply to your Railjack. While fun, the slingshot isn't used much in missions, and intruders are usually rare and not that hard to deal with. Laven and Vidar Mk3 engines will increase top speed and boost speed respectively, while shields are depleted. I did the same calculations as before for the Laven and Vidar speed bonuses. Laven top speed bonus will get it to the same speed bonus as the Vidar engines, but the Vidar engines will ultimately have the higher boost speed. So if you want to have a Railjack with the highest possible speed, take the Mk3 Vidar engines with the speed bonus. Otherwise, Laven engines will have higher boost speed while you're not in combat. The reactor determines the strength, range and duration of your battle mods. Each manufacturer has a specialty stat. The Tier 2 reactor will have the highest bonus in the specialty stat, and the Tier 3 reactor has an additional stat bonus. So there is a good reason to use Mk2 reactors instead of Mk3, if you just want to focus on one stat. The Laven reactors increase duration of the battle mods. The Mk2 give an 80% bonus when maxed. The Tier 3 Laven reactor increases both duration and strength. The Vidar reactors increase range. The Tier 3 reactor increases both range and duration of the battle mods. Zetki reactors increase strength, and the Mk3 reactor increases both strength and range. I have been using the Vidar Mk2 reactor for the range bonus, but the Zetki Mk3 is also a good one to use. For the Laven and Vidar reactor unique traits, I suggest choosing the ones that apply to the Railjack itself. The slingshot and the archwing aren't used much in Railjack missions. For the Zetki reactor it doesn't really matter. Fire hazards tend to be most common, but the electrical hazards disable your tactical screen and the ice hazards prevent you from boosting, so they are more annoying. If all of this was too much data and you just want to know what the best components are, here's my suggestions. Take the Laven plating, it has the most effective health. The Vidar shield array will recharge your shields the fastest, but you could also take the Zetki array with the damage boost. For the highest speed take either the Laven or the Vidar engines with the speed bonus. And take the Vidar Mk2 reactor for more range for your battle mods, or the Zetki Mk3 that grants both strength and range. In the end, I think it's best to choose for yourself, taking into account how you want to play Railjack, what bonuses you want to have on your components, and what matrix and mods you are using on your plexus.